This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
There was one thing I could take from any modeler and try and disseminate it to all the other modelers. I think this might be one of those things. One of the things would be from the quad cortex, the ability to have the looper kind of free from the grid, so you can put it at the end, so it's listening basically to the end of the device, even if you're using different processors and all this sort of stuff. That's kind of cool. The shuffling looper in the Helix is one of my favorite effects that I've ever heard. Is this really creative little thing. So if you imagine that you've essentially got a ditto style looper, right? So you press one switch, you record, you press it again, you stop recording and it starts playing back. You double press it, you stop it, you hold it in, it kind of stops and wipes or whatever. So sort of imagine what is happening to that looper is you can tell it to chop it up and that's what you're doing. And essentially it then kind of shuffles these things around, and creatively you can get kind of wild with them. You can reverse, you know, certain chunks of it. You could chunk a certain chunk of them up an octave or down an octave or anywhere in between. There's loads of really cool stuff you can do with it, and like you heard in the intro there, what it can do is essentially give you something really creative from something relatively boring. So if you play into it like a normal chord progression, and shout out to David Beebe for he was the one where I saw this idea of, like, so I'm very aware of the shuffling looper, but I've not seen it used with a longer loop like he's done. So what he did was set up like a 32, set both of the first things to 32, and then sort of play your progression. It'll then chop those things up in a fairly kind of regular-ish way, and so you can have like a longer chord progression that has this really cool sound to it. Let's dig into it. I'll show you what you can do. Let me know if you've got into this at all, if you've got uses for this. Yannick Guizdala as well, great bass player, and a guy who's on YouTube making cool videos, really likes this as well. I think you'll enjoy it.
Let's just get started, I guess. So I've got a preset here where I'm gonna play some guitar into it, and so we're kind of using the deluxe normal. Let's take this gain anyway. So at the end here we'll put maybe something like plate reverb, because plates sound cool, and take up the damping and keep the mix nice and low, and high cut, bring that down a bit. So we get this. So nothing crazy, just a bog standard kind of thing. Now what you can do is, if you go into the looper category, stereo, you've got one switch looper there. Why have I not got enough who's it to run that? Let's get rid of that block, clear block, and shuffling looper. Okay, so we've got the shuffling looper, then you press on the button that you want to assign it to, and here's what you get essentially. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now, considering we just played one note into this, you get already quite an inspiring thing. So we've got 8 slices, that's how many times it's going to chop it. Sequence length is, so we could use this after we've recorded even. Shuffle determines the likelihood of things reordering, so we could you see, you basically get these really cool rhythmic things. You can set the likelihood of the pitch changing. If we set repeat, you know, you can get repetition of slices. If you get rid of this, it would be kind of chopping up each slice individually. Smoothing we can use to get rid of some transients. Or 0 to keep as much of that as possible. Drift, it will change the current sequence. So if I keep that the same, it will stay the same. We've got a low cut, high cut, and then at the end we've also got the interval. Now if we press the switch again, it will reorder. And if we double click and press, once this light goes out, we've got rid of the loop. Now what David Beebe was trying was something like this. So if we set up an extreme number of slices and an extreme sequence length, and then go somewhere around sort of 70%, get rid of the reverse and get rid of the repeats and get rid of the drift. And what I'm going to do is set the intervals to be +12 and maybe have the pitch a little bit less frequent. Let's try if I can do this. It's predictable. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's one, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then essentially we could even use like a small loop like that, and because we've set it to have the sequence length above the number of slices, I think you'd then get repetition, like 4 repetitions of that 8-bar slices, and they'd all be a little bit different, I think. Yeah, then you got the shuffle, so that can, you know, sort of control the amount of chaos involved. Pitch, you can control how many of the shuffles or the likelihood that they will be pitched up. Reverse, the likelihood that they'll be reversed. Repetition of the shuffles, so you can get like that sort of glitchy type thing happening. Smoothing, which isn't actually particularly effective. Drift, I keep this at 0. If you want to keep the thing the same forever, keep it at 0. If you want the kind of shuffle to keep happening and it keep evolving, you can turn that above 0. And low cut, high cut, and then our pitch intervals. It's a really, really powerful little thing. Thanks to Beebs again for reminding me of it, but this is just a really, really clever little noise making type thing. So 1, 2, make sure actually I think that you have an idea of the tempo before you start, so it's just like a normal looper in that way. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Be a really good alternative to a metronome. 3, 4, and this will rearrange the shuffle if you're looking for something different. But yeah, get familiar with the shuffling looper, because I think that is one of the finest things that chaps at Line 6 ever came up with. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and JC Dream, I'll drop that into the folder for you if you want to give it a try. Let me put that tube screamer back in. Where are you? And gain 3.5. So you can then start your loop and then get... cheers for now though, I'll catch you in another video soon.